Welcome to the importance and power of reading. I'm Michelle, the computer lady, your host. During some awful dark times in America, Black people were denied the ability to read, to learn how to read, to write, or to even own books. And that has hampered our communities up until this day. Now we're going to have important conversations about the importance and power of reading. Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's new segment on the importance and power of reading. I'm Michelle, the computer lady, your host. I have a dynamic and epic guest. He's a tech entrepreneur. I can't wait for you guys to meet him. Welcome, Markevis Gideon. How you doing, Markevis?
I am doing pretty good, Michelle. It's always be good to be able to see you, talk to you, and really the computer lady. Like, what more could we ask for from one nerd to another? I love all that you're doing.
Thank you so much. Now, I want you to tell everybody about all the things that you're doing. I want you to show them that wonderful shirt because that's a wonderful tech company that you've created. Please enlighten us today.
Cool. So, everybody, again, my name is Markevis Gideon. I am the founding owner of Nerd It Now, a computer IT recycler here in the state of Delaware, which really started off as a retail shop, but really scaled up to make sure that we're having a larger community impact. And the community impact we're talking about is really donating technology, training kids how to really find employable skills within tech because I don't want you to be like this nerd. No, I want you to be better than this nerd. Get on my shoulders and together we can go.
I I love it. I love it. I love it. So you're in Delaware. Now, do you have children? Are you married? Tell us a little bit more about you.
Oh man, see, everything that I do, I am first a man of faith. I am a husband, I am a father, and then I'm a social good entrepreneur. Yes, I've been married for now 6 years. I'm married to my high school sweetheart, and we have two beautiful baby boys, both 2 and 4. Well, that 2-year-old, he's about to be 3 years old this Sunday, but crazy or crazy, I love my boys.
That is absolutely amazing. So husband, father, entrepreneur, and when we talk about nerded now, we talk about recycling. We're talking about making sure that electronics stay out of our landfills. We're talking about getting rid of e-waste or reducing e-waste. Is that correct?
Correct. So a lot of times, I am a R2 certified recycler, and we use the term recycle because that's what's known in the industry. But I personally like to classify ourselves as repurposers. We like to take electronics, we don't want to send it to a landfill. We want to make sure our data is secure, but really repurpose the technology. I don't want to send it to another recycler where they're going to break it down. No, we want to build it back up. And that's what we do through a nonprofit that I was able to start, Nerd Cares, where we really take all the electronics, we build it, we teach individuals how to repair these devices. Therefore, it goes back into the community, whether it's a donation or helping making it affordable to a family as well.
I absolutely think that's epic. It's outstanding. It's stupendous. Oh my goodness. You're doing such great work. So you're an entrepreneur performing social responsibility and philanthropic works. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. Wow, I'm so happy to have you here today. Now, when you say R2 recycler, can you tell our kids and our adults out there what that means? Because I know that you're more than a recycler. You're giving things a second life.
Correct. So R2 stands for responsible recycling. In the country, there's roughly 538 IT recyclers, about 990 in the world. One here in the state of Delaware, and that would be us. And again, we're just going to make sure that electronics, whether it's coming from a school district, a bank, a law office, any type of office, when they're done with these old electronics, no, we're going to go ahead and repurpose them. Don't send it to a landfill, send it to us. And we do that with a lot of residential spaces as well, allowing individuals to take their old computers for too many families have computers just sitting in the closet. No, let's get it out the closet, repurpose it before it's obsolete. We're able to do so much more for the community by getting it out the closet, keeping it out of a landfill, and getting it back into a new home.
Ah, that really makes my heart so very happy because, as Michelle, the computer lady, I teach computer hardware repair. But one of the things that we do is we want to make sure that we recycle, we reuse, and we don't waste products. And so what you're doing is absolutely phenomenal. Now, let's get into a couple of questions. And my first question is, did you like to read as a child, or did you struggle? And if so, how did you overcome it?
So I'll be candid. I was not the biggest reader growing up. Now, my father would force me to read. He wanted me to really focus on education. And, of course, we all had to do it for school, but it wasn't something that I really found enjoyable. And it took me a very long time to really get there. When people see me today, they're like, wait, you must have been doing all of this all of your life. Well, no, it took me to my mid 20s to realize the power of reading. And I'm going to implore that every child understand this much sooner than I did. You see, for me, the way it looked, I was looking for mentors as I was starting my business. And there were so many mentors out there, but I didn't have easy access to them. But what I did have easy access to is their books. And I realized, wait, I could build a relationship with the author by reading their books, looking at their podcast. And that right there came a realization for me that I can actually learn so much from books. And it would take me to a whole new height the more that I'm able to indulge in such.
Oh, that's absolutely true. Now, I know your dad forced you to read, but did you have a favorite book when you were little, a favorite baby book when you were a child?
So I remember when I did have to read books. Remember the Bernstein Bears? How they used to have different stories all the times. So no, I didn't really enjoy reading, but when I saw the book, I'm like, "Oh, I love what's going on right here. I love to see all the bears. Just it was a small little family, and I could see myself in that family. Just like, hey, we're gonna just enjoy life with new little struggles that's happening. But no, there's always a lesson to be learned.
Oh, my grandkids love Bernstein Bears. I mean, and I still read children's books. I love them. Well, I write books for children, so it's a natural progression, and I write as my 8-year-old self, so that is awesome. Now, you
Nice.
said your father forced you to read, and as you become an adult and you wanted to have relationships with authors and with other business people, who influenced you besides your dad in school? Because, the one thing about nerds, they think we're really smart, and a lot of times we're just
Yeah.
intuitive and we pick up social clues really well, more than people think. So, did you attend college out of high school, or have you always just worked in your own business?
So I did have businesses growing up. I was always entrepreneurial. Um, I remember high school becoming a Microsoft certified systems engineer. That led me to go to college where I studied both computer science and accounting. But what was even more impressive was the fact that after college, I was able to live in China for 5 years. And that right there was just a crazy journey for me growing up. And during that time, I really did think I knew it all, but no, it was a lot of people in my atmosphere that was really giving me these social clues. Like, Markevis, you might not be able to talk to Angela Duckworth about the grit theory, but no, if you read her book, that right there will teach you everything that you need to know to really figure out all the determination and perseverance that you need to have as a young entrepreneur. So it really was just different mentors in my life who are saying you can get bigger mentors through these books, and there's a lot of lessons that can be learned, therefore avoiding a lot of obstacles that other entrepreneurs were facing.
Oh, I totally agree with that. Now, what books are you reading right now? What would you like to share some titles that has helped you on this journey?
So there are several books that I read. Generally stay in a few different categories. Typically, again, I'm a man of faith, so regardless of one's faith, that's something that's really big for me. So I do read the Bible daily. And then in addition to that, I make sure that I look at different entrepreneurial books, different journeys, regardless of the industry. I like to see how someone started from nothing and really expanded to make a global impact. And then finally, I look at other leadership books. Again, doesn't matter what the leadership is. Leadership to me is leadership. And if I could find out different traits that individuals can have, that is always something that I'm really willing to dive into.
Oh, I agree. I just read a book by Oprah Winfrey's boo, Stedman Graham, and
Yeah.
he's talking about identity leadership. Really good book, and it has a really good workbook inside. And so found it quite fascinating as I too, as an entrepreneur, need a mentor and need a guide. And like you, we can't always reach out to the people that we would like in our corners. So we have to make these books do for us what they do in order to help us grow mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and in the realm of business.
Yes.
Now, we've got to take a quick break. We're going to be right back with my guest, the founder of Nerd It Now, Markevis Gideon. Stay tuned.
Since 1877, Jackson State University has been training students for a life of service and leadership to impact our global society. Ranked among the best HBCUs in the country, Jackson State University offers 47 undergraduate, 37 master's, 1 specialist, and 13 doctoral degree programs. Whether you're interested in the arts, education, public health, the sciences, or business, we're here to take you from ready to JSU ready. Visit jsums.edu and apply today.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the importance and power of reading. I have an outstanding young man. He is phenomenal. He's saving our world by helping to reduce e-waste. He's a recycler, but more than that, he's a philanthropist because he's not only keeping it out of landfills, but he's giving all these wonderful devices that we use a second chance and a second home. Markevis, welcome back to the importance and power of reading.
Hey, thank you, thank you.
Now, I'd like to ask you a couple of more questions. You have children, right? Two
Yes, I
boys.
do.
How important is it for you to have access to reading material for them, picture books in the home, as well as have you started taking them to the library?
Yes, it's been definitely a pleasure. So, as I travel a lot with my children around the world, I want them to see different perspectives. And as I'm looking at different perspectives, we want to make sure that different books are aligned to that. So, before we go to a trip to Asia, let's look at different books about chopsticks or different types of food, different landmarks. What are you going to see in this book so that when you get there, you have a better understanding? My oldest son has now been to, I believe, 11 different countries across the visited, I think, 2 or 3 different continents currently. And my youngest son has now been to 5 different countries as of this year. And the goal is to really broaden our perspective. So, yes, books are so important now. Yes, I allow them to look at different books that they're interested in. My oldest son, he loves books about instruments. My youngest son loves books about dinosaurs. You got to be able to encourage that and then try to find ways to align it with different global views. So, what are different and dinosaurs that might have come from this side of the world versus that side of the world? So, as we're traveling, he's now understanding that. And more than anything, that's building a quality time with myself and my children, making sure that they can see that it's actually fun to read. It's cool to read because it could help develop you as a professional later in life.
I totally concur with that. And what wonderful lessons because you're traveling, they're seeing the world. So not only are they taking in some of the books that they're learning, they're seeing these places with their own eyes. They know they actually exist. Now, you said
Yes.
you traveled to China. What province? Because China is actually pretty big. People that haven't traveled outside the US might not know. Can you give us that?
So it's funny, growing up in the Black community, I wasn't surrounded by a lot of Asians. And when you like, as a child, I would make fun of the language. I'll say ching chong. What I didn't realize, if you reverse those words, one of the largest provinces in China is called Chongqing. And that's where I lived for 5 years. I lived there. It's in the Sichuan province. Chongqing is a city. And that right there, it's a beautiful time. I lived there for 5 years, but I visited pretty much every major city that the average American can name here. I've been to so many different ones all throughout the country, and that's what expanded my opportunities to visit Southeast Asia, where I visited many countries there as well.
Well, I love it. I love the fact that your kids are being immersed in, not only our culture, but other cultures and being able to travel because that's so important. Now, are you multilingual as well?
如果你有说中文，我会说中文，因为我的中文说太好了。That was just a little flex. Yes, I can speak Mandarin pretty decently. Conversationally, if I say it on an everyday basis in English, I can speak it in Mandarin.
That is absolutely phenomenal. I love it. How outstanding. All right. Now, let's talk about the state of literacy, especially for our kids, our children, our adolescents, and our adults. What do you think the state of literacy is? And if it's not as where it should be, how can we get there? How can we overcome some of the lows or highs that we're at?
Yeah, it's unfortunate that for minority communities throughout the country, our state of literacy on average is actually way below where we need to be. We need to really be able to create opportunities for families to spend time with our young so that they can understand the importance of reading and making sure that we're not leaving the job solely on the schools. Unfortunately, they're at capacity. They can't do it all. And a lot of teachers who are teaching our youth aren't from the same culture from us, so they don't really know how to teach our youth. Who can better teach your child than you? So for us, we're being intentional, both my wife and I, making sure that everything they read at school, now we're going to go counterbalance it with something at home, giving them many opportunities to see that no, reading is important and we're going to do it with you.
I totally agree with that. Now, having two boys, this is all the question because I have four brothers, and I know that boys love to run and play and jump and, explore the world around them. How do you keep your boys grounded with reading? How do you make sure that that's a priority?
Yeah, so my boys from an early age understood the importance of reading just because we read to them early. Before they can speak words, we often had different picture books, and that's how we taught them words. Yes, dog, and he'll point. It took him a while, but yeah, he started realizing, and he's now in the point. We want to make sure that we're not. When you think of different standards in the state, we want our kids to be reading at a third grade level by third grade. No, I want my kid to be reading now by first grade. We want to be above the curve as a as a minority community. We're already got the behind the eight ball. We got to really find ways to be innovative to advance ourselves. And when we say advance ourselves, we got to do it for our future generations. So as parents, as grandparents, uncles, aunts, take every opportunity. I understand the kids want to play, but no, you got to show them that this is also another fun way to do it. And again, if there's ways where you can show them a book about the Grand Canyon, read about it, and then drive to the Grand Canyon. If there's a book about a beach, well, let's find different seashells, different animals that you might find on a beach. Therefore, they're getting excited. So it's not just random play at the beach. Now re- they're re- they're remembering things that they read in a book, and that right there allows them to go start looking. Therefore, they're counteracting with each other.
Oh, every teachable moment. I absolutely love that. Now, let's pivot it just a little bit because how did you get to where you are? And I know, as you said, in your 20s, you want to start learning about business. But coming from someone that was forced to read, how much do you love it now? How much do you enjoy it now? And when the kids see you with a book, do they jump into your lap and ask you to read to them?
Yeah, it gets to get a bit complicated because they want to read the books that they want to read. Well, I'm trying to read what I'm trying to read. Now, my reading comes in many different forms right now. Yes, I do like to read a hard book, but I also do a lot of audio books as well. Being an entrepreneur, it's very difficult to be sitting in one space, but something I often do is travel. So my travel time is my reading time. Whether I'm on a flight, whether I'm driving in a car, if I'm walking on the road, those are times for me to read. And if I can put it on my earphones, it makes it so much more seamless. Therefore, I'm not mindlessly listening to music in a car. No, I can listen to music at times, but no, that's not furthering me as a person. Therefore, I read a lot when I'm traveling, and then shower time. That's the best time where I'm just surrounded by nothing but myself. Therefore, it's a good time for me to go ahead and listen to different books. So there's different ways that you can implement it within your lives. That's something that I just do every day. I figure I get close to 45 minutes to an hour each day reading one or two different books. Again, it's always the Bible, and then it's one or two other personal books that I'm looking at trying to advance a certain area in my life. So it's really relevant in my journey today.
Oh, I know, especially the Bible, because people don't even realize the geography of the Bible.
Yeah,
They don't understand all the complex words that are in there. And a lot of
yeah,
times, if you take your Bible and your concordance or a dictionary, the Bible itself has literally over 100,000 different words in it.
yeah.
And so it's a wonderful way to read. Now, as a professional, how has reading helped you be successful in your business, your careers, and in your life?
So one book that I read in the very beginning was Grit. That right there just showed me how hard I need to work. Don't worry about failing. You got to just have grit, written by Angela Duckworth. And then I started to transition towards more business books, and one was called The E Myth by Michael Gerber. Now, the E Myth talks about the technician, the manager, and then the entrepreneur. And I realized 5 years into my business, I was still the technician. No, I needed to transition to the manager, hiring different people to really manage the business. Now, I already had employees, but I was working as a technician still. So once I stepped back and became a manager, I read the book more and it's like, actually, no, I shouldn't even be doing that. I need to be the entrepreneur. If nobody's driving the ship, then you're off course. So I got to be the entrepreneur. So that was two great books, and finally one that really helped me understand. Okay, yes, I'm in business now for 8 years, and what got me here is great, and I'm so grateful that it got me here. But another book was called "What Got You Here Won't Get You There." See, it got me right here, but no, there's so much further that I'm trying to do. So a lot of the things that I practice on an everyday basis has to be completely changed. I can't be the technician nor the manager. No, the way I speak, the appearances I make, the way I allocate my time has to be completely different from what it used to be.
Wow. I love that. I love the fact that reading has boosted your life, helped you on this journey, and made you one of the leading tech guys that I know in this industry. Well, Markevis, you know what time it is. We've got to make another two and two, and we'll be right back with my guest, the phenomenal Markevis Gideon. Are you a company, business, or service that believes in social responsibility? Would you like to make a positive impact? You can. You can sponsor this program and be seen by 2 million viewers on the PIC TV network. Call 770-367-1268 for more information today. Hi, I'm Michelle the Computer Lady, author and children's book publisher of the Mommy Readers Collection series of books. Well, we know how important it is for us to read, but we also know how important our public hospitals are. We're here in Atlanta. My public hospital is Grady. They saved my life. And I would like to give back, and I need your help to do so. I've created a new fundraiser called Building Towards Our Future. And what's going to happen is we're going to make sure, you and I together, that Grady keeps on serving the marginalized, the poor, and the indigent in the Atlanta metro area. All right, stay tuned for more announcements. I'm going to be telling you how real soon. Thank you for joining me in this fight to make sure that we can live with Grady. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Importance of Power Reading. I have an epic guest, Markevis Gideon. He's with Nerded Now. He's the founder, owner, and guess what he does? He helps us reuse and recycle our computers, laptops, all those wonderful things that we use to make sure that they stay out of our landfills. He helps us reduce the carbon footprint and the damage to our ecology and our environment. Father, husband, got two boys. This conversation has been rocking. Now, Markevis, what ways do you think we can help our kids read more and read better these days? What pointers do you have for parents?
So first, pay attention to their personality. Pay attention to things that they're interested in. That right there is going to help encourage them to want to read in the first place. Giving me a book about heart surgery, as cool as it could be for others, unfortunately, it's not for me. Therefore, I would never read it. But if you put a book about travel, if you put a book about computers, about entrepreneurship, it's something that I've been engaged with since as a very young child. I've always been interested in computers. So those kind of books right there made me actually want to read. When I think about the A plus certification, a Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer, there was so many certifications I had to take, and it required a great deal of reading. But because I was interested in the topic, that right there was something that I was willing to do. And as parents, we just got to really pay attention to our kids. If the teacher says, your kid is not paying attention, he's always dancing, she's always singing, well, really pay attention to that. What are they doing at home when nobody's paying attention? Are they playing the drums? Are they looking up at the stars? What are they doing? Because that right there could be what takes care of you as you get into your elder ages. No, we got to really foster that. And when we start paying attention to it, we put books in it that can really align to their interests to encourage them to want to be able to read more, therefore helping our whole community do so much better education.
Oh, I totally, you said a mouthful. I totally concur with that because the more we see our children, the more we see what they're gravitating to, we can find books that they're interested in. And that is a phenomenal point. Now, let's talk about our favorite subject, STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. How can we, knowing that STEM is now and the future, get our kids to gravitate more towards STEM opportunities, get them to see that there's so many different rounds to this STEM journey. How can we integrate that in the lives of our children and help them grow in these principles?
So that right there is just going to be exposure. We got to really expose our kids to technology. We got to look at the whole STEM acronym. Everything there is going to have to be something we introduce to our children at a young age. If you never talk about science, well, they're not going to find science interesting. They're going to look at it at school and find it boring. But no, when you can show them different journeys that one can take within science, technology, engineering, or math, you'll realize that there are so many cool things that you can do. When we think of technology, so I tell people, well, you're thinking about coding, it seems hard, but do you know that gaming, that's all coding right there. So if you find programs that the kids can get interested in within gaming and use a good gaming program that's teaching them that actually no, it's so much more about gaming. We have the person playing the game, we got the person streaming the game, we have the person moderating the game, person that designed the game. There's so much that can be happening right there. We just got to really expose our children to that. Therefore, they're looking in the future like, I can do that too, and make sure that they see other people who look like them doing it. That right there is going to help bridge that gap for them.
I totally agree. And parents, there are other things that you can do. STEM is every day. Just going along when you're driving, counting the stop signs, the shapes of the stop signs. That's part of math. Octagons, triangles. What type of triangle? Is it a rectangle? Then let's talk about the science of color. When you talk about colors, we've got billions and billions of colors. And those things were found out more so because we have the technology we have today. We see our primary colors, and when you grow up with primary colors. But Markevis, tell everybody there's over 10 billion colors, and all of
Yeah.
that through STEM. I love STEM, and I could talk about STEM all day. And being with a fellow nerd, it makes my heart so happy. Now, can you tell us some of the projects that you're working on?
Yeah, so here at Nerd Now, we're always constantly looking to revolutionize the world through technology. And people ask me, well, Markevis, where do you see yourself in 5, 10, 20? Like, what's the goal of Nerded now? And I'll tell you, it's simple. When we have a Nerded presence in every county and every state, then I know that I was able to accomplish my goal. So what does that look like? Well, it may change completely every 3 to 5 years, but no, we want to really make sure we're closing the digital divide across the nation. And today, what that looks like is really making sure that we make our facility sustainable within a recycling space. We've had two grand openings in the past year, one for my nonprofit space and one for my for-profit, where we're really taking our recycled electronics. So we're going to continue in that trajectory, just exploring new opportunities to show individuals how we can close the digital divide.
Now, you're talking about the digital divide. For the people that don't understand that, can you explain what that is?
Yeah, as embarrassing as it is, every child still does not have access to technology. And even more so, we saw it during COVID where grandchildren were trying to reach out and communicate with their grandparents, but there was no real good communication tools. They didn't have the technology to do such. Elder grandparents, they didn't have technology, the children didn't have technology. So we saw this big divide where the haves and have nots do or do not have technology. And then it got even worse when we realized that people don't have access to internet. Without internet, the technology is no good. Without technology, there's no like together we really need to close that divide, making sure that there is equal access to infrastructure that's going to allow individuals to have both technology and internet across our country.
Oh, now you said a mouthful. So, for folks out there that might be afraid of technology, there's some simple things that you can do. Number one, they've got free classes online, and ask your grandkids or your kids to help you a little bit.
Yeah.
I know as an older person, I'm very fortunate to be immersed in technology, and I've been in technology for over 30 years, and I love it. I started taking apart radios and stuff when I was a kid. My dad used to get at me, but my dad was a TV radio man. I would read his Motorola encyclopedias and read schematics and things of that nature, so that's how my mind runs. Now, Markevis, how did you get into technology?
So as a child, similar to you, I just like taking things apart. I thought my grandparents were going to kill me when I took apart the brand new VCR. And I thought it was fun. My grandmother didn't think it was too funny, but my grandfather saved me and said, no, like I said earlier, we gotta pay attention. He said, no, pay attention, watch and see what he does. Well, it may have taken me 2 days, but no, I put the VCR back together. They drew the line at the television and said, you can't do that. But it was something I was just always interested in, taking things apart, putting it together, which led people around me to notice that no, that was going to be his field. And I'm glad that my teachers, my parents, my guidance counselors, they recognize that because it's helped develop me who I am today.
Oh, I just so much fun. Now, you talked about some of the certifications you have. Tell everybody what MCSE means.
So MCSE is Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer. That is something that really helps determine who you can be professionally within the workforce. And that was something I was proud of to really gain at such an early age. And I try to share with all different students today. Find different certifications that right there will help leverage your expertise to be able to do more.
Oh, absolutely. And you're also CompTIA A plus certified because that's the
Correct?
leading standard for technicians. We both are, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Now, how many other OEM original equipment manufacturer vendor certifications do you hold or do you have to have for your business?
So we have a lot of partnerships with different organizations currently working with Lenovo, Dell, and HP. Those are our biggest manufacturers that we're working with, and that right there allows us to just be able to learn more about the technology as they're coming out with new things, and they have access to be able to get volume discounts, therefore providing better discounts to the community.
Oh, I absolutely love it. Now, before you leave, I want you to tell everybody how to get in touch with you if they have things they'd like to recycle in your community because you're in Delaware. Also, some of the things that your foundation is doing. Please, please, please share it.
Yeah, so when it comes to recycling technology, you can always look us up online. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Instagram. Just look up Nerd It Now, or you can look myself up, Markevis Gideon. I'll be more than glad to reach out to you and see how we could help you. You can also go to our website, www.nerditnow.com, and that's ways to be able to figure out how you can recycle your devices, both for your residential and or your commercial spaces. And as far as our nonprofit is just rocking and rolling, granted, we're going through a lot of growing pains, but no, we've recently hired an executive director whose goal is to really implement the vision that was set forth in the inception of Nerd It Cares. We're going to make sure that we're doing more things for the community through workforce development training and making sure that individuals have access to technology via donations.
Well, Markevis, thank you so very, very much. This has been amazing. I'm a fan, and even as a grandma, I'm one of your biggest fans because I love the work that you're doing in the community. Thank you so much for stopping by. You have really blessed us today.
No, thank you for the opportunity. Always glad to be able to hang out with you, Michelle, the computer lady. Keep on doing some great things and inspiring our youth to be able to dive into some books, make sure they're learning more about technology, just learning more so that they can be the best asset to the world.
Wow, what an epic and outstanding interview. You got to come back and join us on this journey on the importance and power of reading. We'll see you next week.
Black life, black inspirational stories, education, luxury, health features. Welcome to the new Black Television Pick TV network, where being in the black is luxury, it's accountability, and it's seeing what you look like in the new face of television. Pick TV network. Come join us.
You know what's going on in our society, book banning, and over 38 million children don't have books in their homes. Join me for some exciting segments as we talk about the importance and power of reading with my guest on the Pick TV Network, Channel 1000.